what all we'll be covering in this session is, one is the quarantine effects on our relationships. Second, how to have conversations around the effects of quarantine, lockdown, and its implications. Third is becoming an effective manager. We are all at home, but we all are doing great jobs as managers, and how to step that game one level up. Another thing that we'll be talking about is developing effective coping mechanisms. What are coping mechanisms and what kind of mechanisms can we use? Developing short-term smart goals for our kids, and using some resources, and I'll be sharing with you some resources, some links that we can all use during our parenting time amidst the lockdown. So here we go. Yeah, this Benita had already introduced, so thanks for that. So the first, thing that we will be talking about is what is actually happening in our relationships. So if I give you a few seconds to think back on how your 8 to 9 days in the lockdown period have been, you all can probably think it over and see that how relationships are getting affected. The feeling, the thought of being locked down, the thought of being, is the next slide visible to you? Shreya, is
yes.
the next? All right.
Yes, it's visible.
The slide on unrest in the family, is it visible?
Yes, that's visible.
All right, okay, it's showing me the option of new share, so I thought, all right, so, amidst this lockdown, one is the situation why we are experiencing the unrest is because a lot has to do with how we are perceiving this situation of lockdown. If I'm perceiving it as an imprisonment for me, then of course, I am already under a state of distorted perception. If I can't think clearly in my head, of course, the way I'm going to communicate with the people immediately in my family is going to be disrupted. So the moment my experience, my thoughts, and my emotions around the lockdown are negative in nature, that very moment, the anxiety starts building up. The stress around the situation starts building up. And how it's manifesting in our lives, it's manifesting either in terms of dysfunctional communication with the spouse, or, with the kids, or, it's too much of expectation from the people in the family, and because we are perceiving ourselves as the victims in the process of lockdown. So if as women the perception is that we have been victimized during the lockdown, then of course the kind of conversations that we are going to have with our family members are going to lead to unrest in the family. So we do understand it's like a lot of work, and hence fights, arguments are kind of a natural consequence in the family. So what do we do about it? The first lesson that we all need to learn is, as this beautiful quote by Thomas Saz says, that in the animal kingdom, the rule is eat or be eaten. In the human kingdom, the rule is define or be defined. So how does it help us here? In the current scenario, like we said in the previous slide, the unrest in the family is due to the fact how I am perceiving myself, the victimization, the fact that I am being victimized, and that's my perception of myself. And if that is how I perceive, it reflects in my conversations with my family members and the people around me. So what do I do? Because I'm frustrated inside, that is the reason I am taking it out on the people around me, or we are experiencing, disharmony in the relationships. So the best way to do it is, rather than, eating up people or getting victimized, define what you want. Define your wishes and desires. Define what exactly you want people to be doing in the household, and what exactly your role in the household is going to be in the upcoming days. Now, the second thing is that, again, related to the first aspect of it is the communication gaps. So, what is leading us to these communication gaps? You know, the way we are interacting with our kids, it's like, you know, we are saying something and we are saying our message loud and clear, but the message is not being received by the people around us loud and clear. So it could be, you know, your parents, your in-laws, your kids, your you know, spouse. You think that, you know, you have made your point, but here are the people around you who are either sitting, I mean, you look at the fourth image and it shows, you know, the earphones. Most of the times you are speaking and you know, you'll actually literally see people moving around the house or sitting in their beds or you know, workbench with the earphones in their ears. They are actually not listening. So you have to make yourself very audible. You have to speak. We need to learn to speak at a time when we are being received by our audiences. And how do we do that? You know, with our kids, it's very important to develop age appropriate conversation with our kids. So if the kid is, say, for example, in a bracket of, say, early childhood, about up till 6 to 7 years of age, what kind of a conversation is it that I'm going to have with a kid who is about 6 to 7 years of age, who wants to know why I can't go out, why I can't move out for my dance classes, my music classes, my sports, my free play time in the evening to the garden outside. You know, so I'm sure, you know, until now we have all developed these mechanisms, given our kids some reasons. Some of them may have been convinced, some of them we are in the process of convincing. And of course it is going to get even worse because you know, as the lockdown period increases by the day, kids are also getting frustrated sitting inside. So having those conversations with our kids, with our spouses, with our family members is very, very important. And sometimes in amidst all of this, you know, you as an individual also need an empathetic ear to listen to you. You also need a vent to talk about the anxiety, the worry, the stress, the physical exhaustion that you are feeling because of too much stuff to be done. So reach out. In that way, you are not just catering to the conversation that the kids are supposed to be having, but you are also finding a way of pouring your heart out by calling a friend, calling your you know, whosoever your confidant is in a stressful situation. I'm sure we all have some besties, some you know, soul sisters or soul partners that we talk to whenever we are experiencing frustration or stresses in our lives. So building our communication effectively is not just speaking, but speaking at a time and in a way that we are being heard, we are being listened to, that we make an impact. And so we'll have to change our strategies of speaking differently with different people of different age groups. Similarly, are you being heard? You know, so you need to ensure that as much as you are being heard, you also need to be a listener to your partners, because, you know, partners may be doing a role in kind of saving their jobs at this point of time. So we need to look at the situation holistically while we are experiencing this anxiety around the pandemic. So effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. This is what Jim Rohn says. And what this exactly means is that if you are frustrated, your communication will get affected by that frustration. If you are feeling negative about the COVID and the anxiety pertaining to it, you will definitely communicate that in your message with and in your interaction. You know, जब होता है ना कि हम लोग जैसे छोटा बच्चा है, वो डॉग से उसको डर नहीं लगता, पर जैसे जैसे हम बड़े होते, बच्चा बड़ा होने लगता है, वो सीखता है, उसको पता चलता है कि डॉग से मुझे डरना है, अगर एक स्ट्रीट डॉग है तो मुझे उससे डरना है। तो वो फियर उसके दिमाग में किसने इंट्रोड्यूस किया? हम लोगों ने, एज एडल्ट्स, पीपल हु आर अराउंड द किड, हम लोग उस फियर को इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं बच्चे के दिमाग में। सिमिलरली, और वो फियर कैसे इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ? बिकॉज हम फियरफुल हैं. बच्चा इनहेरेंटली फियर्स लेके पैदा नहीं होता है, बट द मोमेंट वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग फियर, वी बिगिन टू इंट्रोड्यूस दैट फियर इनटू द चाइल्ड्स माइंड ऑल्सो. तो बच्चे वो चीज फील करने लगते हैं जो हम फील कर रहे होते हैं. So the moment you are experiencing fear, anxiety, worry around this pandemic, that very moment आपके बच्चे भी वही फील करना शुरू करेंगे. That is why it says that effective communication is 80% of the times how you are feeling about what you are saying and what you want to know and the message that you want to pass across to people. Then, yeah, the third point is how you're managing. Your management skills play an important role. So, you know, in the organizational scenario, they say, you know, there's this one thing is smart work, and then there's this one thing is hard work. ये जो time है, this is the time to optimize our ability for smart work. I'm sure सब लोग हार्ड वर्किंग हैं. I'm sure सब लोग अपने बच्चों के लिए, फैमिली के लिए, अपने प्रोफेशन के लिए, you know, we are all getting on online calls and, you know, doing a lot of stuff. But जब ये टाइम है जब हमारा काम जब इतना ज्यादा बढ़ रहा है, प्रोफेशनली भी, पर्सनली भी, तो हमें डूअर नहीं बनना है, हमें इफेक्टिव मैनेजर बनना है. तो हाउ इज इट दैट यू नो यू बिकम इफेक्टिव मैनेजर्स? अगेन द स्किल दैट वी स्पोक अबाउट इन द प्रीवियस स्लाइड, कम्युनिकेशन. कम्युनिकेशन एक ऐसी चीज है जो बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व कर देता है. द मोमेंट वी स्पीक क्लियरली, the moment we put down our expectations clearly to our kids, to our spouse, to the family members, that very moment the frustration inside of us is gone, and we are actually communicating with the people that हमारी क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन उनसे है, हमारे से क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन उनको होनी चाहिए. तो जब हम लोग दो चीजें बैलेंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, अपने डोमेस्टिक चोर्स को भी और अपने जॉब्स को भी, बाय वर्किंग फ्रॉम होम, तो ऑफ कोर्स हमें समझ में आ रहा है और सबको समझ में आ रहा है. इवन इफ यू आर नॉट वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल, यू नो, हाउस होल्ड में काम बहुत बढ़ गया है. यू आर मैनेजिंग किड्स, यू आर मैनेजिंग अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ. सो हाउ टू बिकम इफेक्टिव मैनेजर्स? You know, so here your responsibility as a manager in a management position comes into account. तो आप एक टाइम scheduling करिए. You know, it's not rocket science जो मैं बोल रही हूँ कि time management is one thing which you need to do now. So you can probably allocate what will be your time to access your social media profiles. You can allocate a time कि बच्चों को आप बता सकते हैं कि मैं इतने बजे से इतने बजे तक तुम्हारा प्ले टाइम, मैं तुम्हारे साथ इन्वॉल्व रहूंगी, इतने बजे से इतने बजे तक मैं तुम्हारे साथ कोई एजुकेशनल एक्टिविटी करूंगी, एंड फ्रॉम दिस टाइम टू दिस टाइम आई एम गोइंग टू डू you know, some recreational stuff, some creative and craft stuff. So assigning time to the tasks is very, very important. Then delegating work to the family members. बहुत छोटी सी चीज, बच्चे सो के उठते हैं, ब्लैंकेट्स या कंफर्टर्स या जो चादर ऊपर लेते हैं, उसी टाइम बच्चों को हम ट्रेन कर दें. 6-7 साल से ऊपर का बच्चा अपना बेड बना सकता है. So you know, the moment the child wakes up from the bed, gets off from the bed, we have to help the child understand कि ये एक ऐसी चीज है जो आप कर सकते हो इजीली, और आपको अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स को इसी तरह ट्रेन करना है, डेलीगेट करना है. तो बच्चे अपना बेड बना सकते हैं, तो आपका एक काम कम हुआ आपकी लिस्ट में से, one less thing to do in your to-do list. The second thing is like putting the utensils away, doing you know, some kids of say 10 to 12 years of age can do some you know, little bit of dusting around and contribute to you in some or the other way, helping you with putting away the dishes. The washed dishes have to be put back into their own places. So you know, these are little things that जितना allocate कर देंगे काम, उतना it will become easier on you. And the third thing is, you know, of course, we need to allocate age-wise and according to the physical the physical stamina of the people around you. जो अगर आपके घर में old family members हैं जो बैठ के कुछ काम करना चाहते हैं, so you can give them certain chores which can be accomplished. Don't try to become a superhuman right now. This is not the time to become a superhuman. Just be human and be a calmly functioning, a patiently functioning human being. So ये 3 चीजें हैं जो आप कर सकते हो, delegate करके, smart work करके अपने काम को थोड़ा सा we all can in fact ease out a little. So Jessica Jackley, she's a woman entrepreneur, an American woman entrepreneur, and she says the deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. तो हमारे डोमेन में कहते हैं कि we have to divide the tasks in terms of urgent and important. तो उसकी लिस्ट बनाइए, क्या अर्जेंट है, क्या किए बिना मेरा गुजारा ही नहीं होगा. So you need to first prioritize those things on the top of your list. और क्या important है, जो चीजें बिल्कुल अर्जेंट है और वो बहुत बहुत important है, वो आपकी प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट में सबसे नंबर 1 पे होनी चाहिए. उनको आपको इमीडिएटली एग्जीक्यूट करना है. There could be things which are very important but which are not very urgent. So कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो मान लीजिए बच्चों के न्यू सेशन स्टार्ट हुए हैं, उनकी बुक्स एलोकेट हो रही हैं, तो अगर टीचर्स सेंड कर रहे हैं पीडीएफ फॉर्मेट में फाइल्स, तो एक्सेप्ट करिए. यू डोंट हैव टू हैव द एंटायर बंडल टुगेदर फॉर द किड्स राइट नाउ. So postpone what can be postponed for now, because you don't have to expose yourself to the risk of going out and stress yourself about it, and do whatever needs to be done on a basis. And deciding what is not at all to be done in the current scenario. Coping mechanisms. So for any kind of stress or anxiety that we are experiencing, all of us have different coping mechanisms. Each and every individual copes with his or her stress and anxiety in a different way. So how do you cope? First, you need to identify that. So coping mechanisms दो तरह के होते हैं. Either we can focus upon what exactly the problem is, and we start coping in terms of that problem. See, a lot of us are wanting to enhance our knowledge base about COVID, about the coronavirus. So we are feeding into a lot of news. We are opening up the news channels. We have downloaded apps of the latest information about COVID. So we are reading about that. So we really want to know exactly what we can do to strengthen our immunity, what we can do to take exact precautions that we are required to take regarding this current pandemic. And we are exactly trying to focus upon the tasks related to enhancing our immunity, reducing the chances of getting the disease, etc. On the other hand, some of us get more panicked. We get more anxious. And so much so that वो जो anxiety और वो panic और जो stress है, that intervenes with our ability to work effectively in our day-to-day environment. So we need to identify in which domain do we lie. Am I getting really affected? My emotions are getting affected by this news every single day. तो वो identify करना है. अगर if you are feeling highly stressed, if you're feeling highly anxious, then this is something that you need to be taking care of, is first your own emotional and mental health, your own emotional well-being. तो आप इसके लिए बहुत चीजें कर सकते हैं. Like you can practice some relaxation exercises, you can do meditation. In fact, from personal experience, I can share that I tried doing meditation with my daughter, with my 7-year-old daughter, and kids do respond to such activities. It is not like they don't. download some apps which can calm you down, which can provide you with relaxation instructions that you can follow and relax your muscles of your body, your mind, etc. So if you are getting more emotionally affected, then you need to deal with your emotions first and the rest of the things next. If you are a person who's more of a doer and who thinks that drinking more fluid is helping me, drinking strengthening kids immunity is important, taking the right kind of nutrition and diet is what is important, going out to the market to fetch the right grocery and vegetables in the limited time slot is important, then you do that. So we need to identify what my coping mechanisms are. So अगर आपको काम करके खुशी मिल रही है, so you focus upon the task oriented coping. If you feel that it's your emotions that are overwhelming you, then you need to focus upon your emotions first, manage your anxiety first, so that you can feel better with your own emotions and feelings. So yeah, going ahead. So how exactly do you do that? Responding to the situations and not reacting to them is the first thing. Actually, whenever we are in a sorry for this disruption. Whenever we are in a state of stress, so what happens is that there are two ways of responding or reacting to stress. One is that we become defensive, that we try to resist what the stressful situation has brought to us. And the other is that we try to run away from that situation. So that's typically biologically our mind that way. There's this part of the brain called the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to decide whether we are in the fight mode or the flight mode, which means that whether we are going to fight, be courageous enough to fight with the stress, or we are going to flee away, we are going to deny everything. So we've seen from these news articles which have shown that people have gathered in some part of the city, and I'm not here to do any kind of pick up a religious conversation, but we know the facts that people have been gathering. So they are, you can say that where people are gathering in groups, they are in a state of denial. They are trying to run away from accepting the fact that this stress or the reason for the stress needs to be addressed. The ones who are in the fight mode are the ones who are making efforts to face the situation with the best possible means and mechanisms, and responding to it in a way that they can cope up with the anxiety. So what are the ways that we learn these emotional coping techniques so that we calm ourselves down? So see, every single day is going to be a challenge, because we've all had household help earlier, and this is the time that in a lot of societies, and in fact because of our own safety concerns, we are not letting the maids in, the domestic help into our house, so that we can limit our exposure to any kind of viruses and germs. So we do understand that as the workload, the number of days keep on increasing with the workload, this is only going to worsen in terms of the demands that it will have on our physical health. So we need to one, cope up with the physical, the routine of our physical health, and two, we need to cope up with the anxiety that we face, the stress that we face, the drain out that we are facing, the burnout that we are facing with the along with this the too much of workload. So emotionally, like I said, practicing meditation, sitting, taking out 20 minutes in a day for your me time is very important. Now that could be sitting with a cup of coffee, sitting with a book to read for 15-20 minutes, and sitting and reading out a story with your kid, if that is something that kind of helps you. Just practicing some yoga or some exercises, stretching, maybe, whatever your comfort food is, engaging once in a while in your comfort food also is completely fine. So there are certain things that we can do to calm ourselves emotionally, calm down ourselves. The task oriented thing is that all of us are doing some tasks, until and unless they become urgent, like I said, we don't need to worry upon them. Also, the important task is that some of you are working from home. If you are on a web call, on an online call, or your spouse is on an online call, we know that, all of us, everybody in the world knows that we are all at home. We are all working from home. So there are going to be kids in the background. There are going to be noises in the background. We need to develop smarter ways and means of dealing with these issues. Knowing the technology better, knowing how to handle it better. If the kid has come in for a moment, let's not get panicked about it and let's not stress over it. Mute, give instructions to your family members and move on with your call or your meeting or whatever work you are engaged in. So we need to, as much as we need to learn our own, get in touch with our own self, start our inward journeys, it is also the time to reflect that inward journey or project that learning in our outside environment, because ultimately this is your immediate circle of trust, the immediate family members that we live with. The 4 people, the 5 people, or the 6 people that you are living with in a particular house, that is the circle that you can trust for anything good or bad in your life. So this is something that you need to, all of us need to work upon, our inner selves and the tasks that we are engaging in. So learning our means of responding to it, not reacting to it with panic and with stress and with frustrations and with anxiety. जब हमारा panic under control होगा, when our anxiety will be in a state of control, we'll be able to deal with the situations better. So developing more and more activities for your me time. Some of us enjoy cooking. Maybe in this time, it is not looking like a very enjoyable activity because of the number of dishes that we have to do. But, whatever, getting yourself absorbed in cooking your comfort food, like I said, stretching, some exercising, downloading an app which helps you do some home workouts, relaxation, shavasana, meditation, reading a book, enjoying your cup of coffee, tea, or your favorite drink, whatever suits you, provides you with comfort, provides you with a state of mental relief, is something that you can count upon. All right. Right. So the lesson that we learn is that we can't always control what goes on outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. This is a famous philosopher and a writer, Wayne Dyer, who says that, outside situation is beyond our control. What is happening in the outside world, the decisions that government is taking. In fact, this morning I was reading that the UN Secretary General, he has shared that PM Modi has been one of the smartest leaders to announce lockdown at a very correct time in the amidst the spread of the COVID virus, because he says that many countries actually waited for a very long period, until another 3-4 weeks. If he would have waited, then the spread would have been like really outrageous. So it's a good decision. We must consider this as a time, as an opportunity for us to start our learning and self-development on the inside, rather than focusing upon what is happening on the outside world. Yeah, this is something very important, and I feel that we can all do it with our kids, which things which we may not have done with our kids. It's time to do it now, because kids are home. Even though a lot of kids have started with their online classes, still they do have a lot of time in between the lectures or in the afternoon and evening, because they're saving up their time of commute, and it's not as intensive as it would be on a normal regular working day of school. So how to help our kids develop some smart short-term goals? So like we say, smart goals are the ones which are systematic and reachable and manageable and goal oriented, etc. So how do we targets which are achievable, how do we help them develop these goals and these targets? um, some of us may have kids who are overweight. Helping them develop a regime, a routine around it, helping them learn habits of good nutrition, healthy nutrition, giving them a short-term goal that 3 weeks you can tone up your body a little with exercise, you can manage your weight a little by eating healthy, monitor their diet and their lifestyle patterns, how much of on-screen time. So you can help them develop short-term goals around their health, physical health, weight management, eating habits, something which builds up their immunity, and more so in the context of this current pandemic. Second is skill development. So we know all around the world people are running online courses now for the kids as well as adults. Let's find for ourselves what kind of courses we can enroll our kids in. If a kid is good with music, he's good with some robotics, let's try to do some research around that and engage our kids into those kind of skill development courses. The third thing that we can do is we ourselves can engage with them in indoor games and give them some targets of learning those games better. Say something like chess. Playing chess is something that helps in the development of cognitive growth and development, like decision making, problem solving, puzzles, sudokus. These are things which are actually learning based, and we can always keep a short term goal around these games. Something that our kids enjoy the most, we can help them develop goals regarding those indoor games which are good for their brain development. In lot of, in fact, entrances and in lot of papers, competitive papers, the section on complete the sequence kind of questions, those things are there. So if the kids enjoy doing those kind of puzzles and activities, all of those resources are available online, so we can help the kids develop their timeline based goals. So enrolling the kids for a 3-week skill development program, 2-week program on, like I said, any of the crafts, best out of waste activities. There are a lot of websites which help us, which can help us help us engage the kids in these craft activities. Then there are a lot of these easy cooking and recipes that we can help the kids learn. So we can make it goal oriented. All I'm saying is that we all know of these activities, but what we can do right now is, for the upcoming next 2 weeks or 10 to 12 days that are left, we can make it very goal oriented, that these are the number of recipes you need to learn, these are the number of this is the 2-week, 3-week course, or this is the level that you need to work upon. For say if you are playing an instrument like a guitar or piano, these are the number of songs that you can learn, etc. So help them develop and make goals, like make a timetable to reach those goals. And finally, I'll be sharing some resources with you all, and then of course the platform will be open for any discussions or any questions if you have. So yeah, we can use some of these resources while at home. These are, most of them are, all of them rather, are online resources. And we can use them to help our kids develop their skills and engage them into activities. So Scholastic home learning packs, you can note them down if you wish to. There's a list of these things. So Scholastic is actually has been coming up with books. If you go to your kids' PTMs, you may be seeing the setup from them. They are always they come up with great books for sale. But they have come up with resources online, especially for use during this time. And some of them are free, some of them are paid, of course. Then Twinkle activity packs and planners. Again, they are activity packs. You can download these, online and use them. Some are again paid, some are free. Quizlet. Some kids enjoy quizzes. They love, playing at the next level. So it's a great time for helping them develop their information base. Speech blubs, then fitness. So there are a lot of apps which are there for the kids, and their workout for the kids. So kids specific apps. Of course, you need to be very sure that they are comfortable, they are, they are safe for the kids, and make sure that, they follow them in your presence, and they are not experimenting anything which they haven't done earlier. But it's very important to release kids' energy. The more their energy gets bottled up in their bodies, the more they are prone to becoming frustrated. So if your kids are running around the house, dancing around, if they are burning their energy, it's good in a way. It's one of their natural inbuilt coping styles. They are coping to stress in a positive way. And then similarly, some OT Mabuse dance class. Of course, this is more a Western concept, but you can, for your Indian, dance styles and all, also you can do some search and you will find. Cosmic yoga, again, is personally I have tried with my kids, and it's really helpful. It's a YouTube channel wherein they do storytelling, and along with storytelling, they give instructions for how to do different asanas, yoga asanas. So that's very interesting. Color yoga is something that some people I know in the domain of art therapy, they do use color yoga a lot. So again, you can download the patterns of color yoga. The idea is to help kids get engaged in concentrated activities which require attention, concentration, and for them to focus upon a task. So the idea here is that right now we can't really minimize the screen time for the kids. What we need to do is need to optimize the use of the screen time. So even if the kid is having the screen in front of him, rather than him passively just absorbing whatever the screen is giving him, let the kid be actively engaged in a skill development. So it could be a crafts activity, it could be an arts activity, it could be a workout that he's doing, following the instructions on the screen. So whatever it is, like making the screen also interactive with the kid is possible if we use the resources that are available online. So are we thinking that there's too much anxiety? All that we've spoken about, we are not in a hopeless world, because when we look at the news only shows up the number of corona positive cases and the number of deaths. The good news is that there are people recovering. Young adults, kids are also recovering from the coronavirus. So it's just that we are focusing upon the negativity around us. So the only reason I'm sharing this number is that we need to be hopeful in life, for it is hope that keeps us motivated to take action in life. So thank you so much, Shreya, and it was a good opportunity for me to interact with the parents. And now I think if you have any questions or any impression you would like to share, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and discuss it. Any impression, any questions, anything, then we can take it up.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. This is Kiran from Maharashtra.
Yeah, Kiran. Hi.
Yeah, I'm working as a counselor. Ma'am, really, the session was really good and really helpful for me a lot. And I don't have any questions, but I need your suggestion.
Sure.
Just now, before we have started our session, I just had a discussion with my daughter. She likes to draw and she likes to color it. Okay. Whenever she is doing, I just behind her, and whenever she needs help, I just try to do it. Then now also I have done the same. Then I just wrapped one part of the diagram, and she just told me that you only did everything, you only do everything. Then don't ask me to do anything. And just she left from the place, and till now she is so angry and frustrated and looking at me like a lion. What do I do, ma'am? Every time this is only repeating.
Mhm. But thank you for the question, Kiran. And I'm sure a lot of us are facing these issues as mothers because in the in the desire to engage them, we end up doing a lot of stuff for them. That is the
Yes,
reason we talked about the concept of management. We have to keep them engaged. So you have to ask yourself the question: are you
yes,
wanting that sketch perfectly drawn and colored, or your aim is to keep her engaged for the next 30 to 40 minutes? So that why is very important. If you answer that why of yours, that why have you given her that task to color? Is it that you want her to be perfect and so you are okay to do it on your own, or is it that you have to keep her engaged? So
yes.
yeah, that is what will help you to intervene the least in her activity.
You know, ma'am, yesterday what happened? Then she gave me one task and she asked me to draw it. Okay. And the same thing, she also drew it. Then obviously what will happen, ma'am? I was only, my drawing only looking good and her drawing is not looking good. Then she started blaming me. You only did it nice. Then mine was not good. So then again started. Then
Yeah, so
this
kids
is
are competitive.
no.
Good for you. So, you need to identify this fact that your child is competitive, Kiran, in nature.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes,
it's good
yes,
in a way because if she's inherently competitive, she'll work harder to kind of reach that goal. So probably, this task can be taken up as a short-term goal for her.
yes.
So, now you can help her, learn tips and techniques of
Hmm.
reaching the goal of making a drawing just like yours in the next 2 weeks. I do understand kids appreciate variety. She would not want to
Yeah.
do or practice that drawing for more than
Yes.
next 2 days or next one day. But you can always help her. The idea is that help her set up a goal. That is the
Yeah.
idea.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Kiran, for your question. Anything else? Anyone else? Anyone would like to share any impression?
I guess we are done for today.
Yeah.
Is there asking any? I just heard it. Guys, any questions you can ask? We are here for more another 5 minutes. If anything you want to discuss.
Otherwise, you can always drop a mail to Shreya, or my mail ID is here. If there's anything, I'll be more than happy to help or to write back to you.
You're welcome, Jayashree, for the session. So I guess we can end it over here. We call out for the day.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome.